Today we'll be discussing the Civil War and some of the differences that divided the North and the South leading up to the conflict between the two. Some of the regional differences. Factories were increasing in the North, causing urbanization, which meant people were moving from farms to the cities. Farming still remained in the South though, and most people in the South lived on small farms. Wealthy plantation owners were the South's leaders though. More people lived in the North than the South. The reason for this is because of all the factories, causing an increased demand for workers. The workers would move to the North in order to find work and a better living for their family. The slave economy. The cost of feeding, housing, and clothing slaves was high, so it was tough for those people in the South to make money. That's why the majority of people in the South did not own slaves. In the South, the slaves worked as miners, carpenters, factory workers, and even house servants. But most worked on plantations. In 1860, 1/4 of white Southern families owned slaves. Large plantation owners owned more than half the slaves, though. As you can see by this pie graph, slaves in the South during the 1860. The majority of the pie graph shows that people did not own slaves. King cotton. The cotton gin removes seeds from cotton fiber. The cotton gin was developed by a man named Eli Whitney. Because of the cotton gin, cotton could be prepared for market quicker. After being prepared at market, the cotton was sold to textile mills in the North. With the higher demand for cotton, and with the cotton gin creating higher production, this created a demand for more slaves in the South. North and South disagreements. The disagreement was about the states' rights and slavery. The South felt that they should be able to decide whether or not there would be slaves in some of the new territory that was going to be discovered. The North and South have argued about these since colonial days. Southern states didn't like Northern industry because they felt that the North was taking advantage of them, causing them to buy their goods from the North. But the biggest argument was over slaves and the western frontier. Would slaves be allowed in the new territory being discovered? The western frontier. Northerners believed slavery should be limited to the South. South believed they could take their slaves wherever they wanted. The number of slaves continued to grow in the South, and the number of enslaved people continued to grow when they were taken west. The South believed in states' rights and believed that they could decide whether or not slavery would be allowed in the new territories that were established. The North and Abraham Lincoln believed that slavery should be limited to the South. I emphasize the word limited. Abraham Lincoln said that he just wanted to limit slavery in the South, believing that if he said that he wanted to end slavery, there would be no way that he could be elected the president and able to keep some of the border states on his side. This will conclude the slideshow presentation for today's lecture. You will now go to your Skyward account and you will take a 6-question quiz over the notes that you have taken today. At no time during this quiz can you go back and look at the video. You may use the notes that you have taken off of the slides. Thank you and have a good day.